Hello, creators! Save the date for our 2024 Creator Circle Retreat happening September 23rd through 26th in Vancouver, Washington, United States. Registration is open, and the early bird deadline is March 15th. The 2024 Creator Circle Retreat will be 4 days of restoration and rejuvenation for yourself and your business, and you can find all of the details at wellnesscentercreators.com/retreats, where you can also click to apply. As always, feel free to email with questions anytime at kendall@wellnesscentercreators.com. And lastly, it's important to note that the retreat is limited to 20 people, and everyone from last year is getting ready to register again, so jump on it. As health and wellness providers, we know that better patient outcomes require a whole person, multidisciplinary approach that we just can't provide on our own. That's why I've started the Wellness Center Creators podcast. I'll be bringing you interviews with experts, tips, tricks, secrets, resources, systems, and solutions so that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. And creating your wellness center won't feel like starting over. Before we jump into today's episode, let's give a shout out to our sponsor, Jane, a clinic management software and EMR. Whether you're just starting to do your research or you've been contemplating switching your software for a while now, the Jane team understands that the process can feel intimidating. That's why their goal is to provide you with all the onboarding resources you need to make the switch as smooth as possible. Jane offers a personalized call to set up your account, a free date import, and a variety of online resources to get you up and running quickly. And if you need a helping hand along the way, you'll have access to unlimited phone, email, and chat support included in your Jane subscription. If you're interested in learning more, book a one-on-one demo at jane.app/switch. And if you decide to make the switch, don't forget to use the code WELLNESS1MO at sign-up to receive a 1-month grace period on your new Jane account. Welcome back, everyone, to the Wellness Center Creators podcast. Today on the show, we have Melinda Choy. Melinda, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Kendall. Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited to talk to you today. Let's start with sharing with the audience just a bit about your story, how you became a practitioner, and eventually a clinic owner.
Sure. So my journey started quite early on, actually. So a lot of it was kind of in my young teens. And so both my parents growing up suffered various medical conditions. And so my father was diagnosed with spinal stenosis, which put him in and out of hospitals and multiple surgeries. Early on in my life, I was about 12. And then my mom was diagnosed with cancer when I was 17, and then subsequently passed away from cancer when I was 21. And so I spent a lot of time going in and out of hospitals, doctor's appointments, and various treatments for them. And I always felt somewhat disgruntled from the conventional medical system. I went on a major self-exploration path after my mom passed away, as you can imagine, and kind of fell into learning all about natural remedies, mind-body connection, read every self-help spiritual book that's out there.
Yeah.
And decided to, I kind of came from more of a political science background. I'd always worked in corporate organizations, and my parents were both entrepreneurs and business owners. And so I'd always kind of felt like I can really do this administrative side of things, as well as I never really thought I was going to become a healthcare practitioner, but then also I fell in love with the hands-on work and this idea of becoming a provider myself. And so I had this exposure and this opportunity of working for one of the it was the very, very first insurance company that was privately owned that offered full healthcare coverage for alternative therapies. And the owner was best friends with Andrew Weil. And so I ended up getting a job as a filing clerk. And I just said, I called them up, I cold called them. They happened to be like the neighboring city from where I was living with my dad. And I said, can I get a job? And I really want to work in this wellness industry. I just don't know how or why. And I worked my way in to becoming a credentialing provider or working in the credentialing department. So we
Yeah.
set up this whole method of understanding credentialing in various modalities. And so I got to learn about all these different modalities of therapies and out there and how to get trained for that. And at that point, I started thinking about, gosh, there's so many amazing clinics out there. And why aren't there more wellness centers? Why are there not more of these holistic clinics? There's all these people who are out there practicing on their own, but there's very little in terms of infrastructure or examples of all these people working under one house. There's all these beautiful modalities, and people aren't really working just synergistically together. And I ended up going to acupuncture school after that, becoming a provider myself. But that's what really sparked my idea of really looking at various creations of wellness centers. And so at that point, too, I started looking at what UCSF was doing and some of their integrative centers that they were putting together. And again, like not a ton of examples that were out there. And that really gave me that inspiration of like, you know what, I think we could do medicine better
Yeah.
than what's currently out there. And this was in like, gosh, I would say like 1998, 99, when alternative medicine was really still quite alternative and just people weren't creating these larger businesses or practices around it.
Yeah. Wow. I'm so glad you shared that. Thank you for sharing that with us. And I love hearing, why people do what they do and why providers, be, what that first spark is for them or that catalyst to do the work. And I think your first experience of it within an insurance company is really interesting. And I'm sure that has impacted, how you practice present day. I'm curious to go a little farther into the story. At what point did you get to the place of opening a clinic, and kind of what did that look like for you?
So I always knew. So when I graduated, we all know how daunting that feeling is. Like, okay, now you have this license. And then at the time that I graduated, which was in 2003, I got licensed in 2004. There weren't many jobs as an acupuncturist. And so I knew that I wanted to live and just choose where I wanted to live first. And because I wanted to like settle and create the life that I want really intentionally and not just say, okay, I'm just going to work here because this is where the people are. I'd rather just be where I want to go and where I
Yeah.
want to have a family. And then I know that there's plenty of people there. I mean, unfortunately in our world, there's no shortage of ill and sick people. People need help
Yeah.
everywhere. So it doesn't
Yeah.
matter how big the population is. So I chose Tahoe. Again, I'd always been just a place of healing and passion for myself of where the activity and the lifestyle that I wanted to live. From there, I had always envisioned and working in a team in a clinic. And so with lots of different providers, because I knew that as a modality for acupuncture alone, it's not the fix all and the center for all medicine either. I knew that working in conjunction with other providers that bring other talents really helps for people to build a stronger foundation at root cause medicine, and even from body work and, physical movement, and then the emotional side. Like we can't do all of it.
Yeah.
So I just had to start from the ground level and just know that, okay, I just need to figure out how to open up my own clinic. And so I wrote a business plan, and got a microloan from the SBA, and literally created a spreadsheet that was like, this is the service that I'm going to offer. This is how many patients that I need to see. These are how many new patients I need to see each month. And this is what my cash flow needs to look like. And just learned the business end of how to do things and start my own small business. And so I rented a room out of a chiropractic clinic. And I thought, oh, this is so great. I get to go into the space with another chiropractor and we're going to work synergistically and help each other out. And it was not that experience at all. It was the complete opposite. I mean, I really got very few referrals. He very much operated in a sense where like I rented a space from him and I had to do all of my own marketing. I had to, supply it's my own business operating within his business. But I thought even so, like we would have this kind of referral energy with it. And it did not turn out that way at all. And so I just was like, this isn't the right place for me. I need to find a place where I can really grow and somebody who wants to actually work synergistically with me. And so very quickly, I found another space from another chiropractor. It worked much better, but I was very much still on my own in building my clientele. And it just kept growing. And within 2 years, I was able to open up my first clinic on my own. So I had two treatment rooms. I worked 4 days a week. And then I did that for 3 years, felt myself burning out, and then realized, okay, I just need to hire a front office staff. So I just hired for one employee. So adding in one employee allowed me to then free myself up to see more patients. Then as I started seeing more patients, I added on a massage therapist. Then I started building a brand. From building a brand, I recognized I could bring on more providers. And I just slowly started adding and building through the years. And it's been 20 years now.
My gosh. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And it really speaks to the power of organic growth and, building as you're ready. And I think that's such a beautiful example. I'd love to hear more about your business model and how it works by sharing success of all the practitioners. And what do you mean by that?
So, as I said earlier with my first experience, it just felt so negative to me in just renting a space and having all these people just operate under their own names and their own businesses. Because ultimately we know, and I think this is probably part of why you're having this podcast and what's inspired you, is that as healthcare providers, we're not just out there as these amazing business people.
Right.
We're all bleeding hearts. We're in the medicine that we do because we want to work with patients. So not many of us come out of the gate and have these visions or these abilities of creating practices. And it just didn't make sense to me that I'm going to put up my sign on my door. I'm going to pay all this rent and overhead, hire all these people, and then a massage therapist is going to open 2 miles away from me and do the same exact thing, but requiring the same infrastructure. And they may not be as successful because maybe they don't have the marketing skills to be able to build that. Yeah. So it never made sense to me of like, why are we not sharing our successes with each other? Why are we not sharing these expenses? So what I aimed to do was, and this is the model that I saw that was different, was that a lot of people just open up these clinics and then they're like, well, okay, I want to lower my overhead. So I'm going to rent a room for somebody and they'll pay rent. And then we'll have these 2 separate businesses under the same roof.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of like, that didn't feel, again, synergistic, that we're building off of and leveraging off of each other in a way that feels good for both parties. So I created a structure where I call it's a co-branded structure. So this is how many medical clinics do it as well, where you're under one roof. And essentially, I'm offering a management services organization and developing the management services and the brand for individual providers to come on and leverage off of all of our services. So what makes it unique is that it's very clear and defined that they're still independent contractors because they collect their own money. So everybody has their own bank accounts, but we have one POS system. We have a front desk that still covers and offers all their scheduling. We all operate under the same operation system and their EHR. We have one phone number they can call. The front desk is trained to be able to schedule and to be able to talk about each of the provider's modalities. And they decide on which days that they want to work. And so it's very well organized where we all share rooms, we share space, but everyone works under the Elevate brand. And so we can share success in this way. Nobody's feeling alone. And so we have two models here. So at this point, I have 9 practitioners that all work under one roof. And then, and as a part of that 9, I also have myself as an acupuncturist and then another acupuncturist employee. And then we're hiring a third acupuncturist employee. And then the other employees are the people who are providing all the infrastructure staff. So this is our operations manager as well as front desk. So essentially, Elevate has 5 employees and then 7 additional, I'm like not doing my math right, but about 6 or 7 additional independent practitioners under the Co-Wellness brand.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Yeah.
And it's an important discussion because, I get this question all the time, employee versus contractor versus tenant. And it's kind of like the foundational conversation about wellness clinics. How are you going to structure your wellness center? And so the managed services organization, for people who haven't had experience with that before, it is the solution to being able to work all together under a brand, but maintain the independent contracting. And it allows, and you're in California, is that right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And California is one of the strictest states, same with New York, as far as multidisciplinary rules. So every state has corporate practice of medicine, and there's lots of rules around who you can hire, right? If you're a mental health counselor, can you hire an acupuncturist? Well, you can, but you have to do X, Y, and Z. If you're an acupuncturist, can you hire a physician? Well, you can, but you have to have this in place, right? So the managed services organization is typically the main solution to kind of have that unique setup that you want.
Yes, absolutely. And that you can still do it as a blend. And so there are, like I said, the acupuncturist, just because we're doing the same thing, I feel like we don't, again, to dispel any type of competitive feeling between person and person and where the patients go, that everything is very much shared, right? It's this kind of, they can go to whoever they want because nobody is trying to hold all the patients under their to their own individual schedule, because we're all building this together. And so we're more apt to be able to refer like, hey, this person might be a better fit for you. And so they work, because there's multiple acupuncturists in here, I think it's healthier just to have that set a better tone.
Yeah.
And then with the other modalities that, they're still working synergistically with us, but we're not doing the same thing. We're not competing for the same patient, essentially. We're all working together to help to elevate the patient's well-being, as well as leveraging off of each other and referring and building each other's practices. And this is what I really mean by leveraging off of each other's success.
Yeah. So I'm curious, the systems of synergy, and in my mind, I go to collaboration, So what are the systems of collaboration that you all use as a team? Are you meeting frequently? Are you doing case coordination? Or do you have like a system of referrals?
I would love to say that we meet frequently, but with so many providers and so many of us busy, it's hilarious. We have 6 treatment rooms and most of us don't see each other. We'll be in the same office all day, but we're in our rooms all locked in with different patients, and we'll catch each other in the hallway for a quick, like, hello, how's it going? We try to, we do some patient coordination. So because we all do work under the same EHR system, we ensure that the patients are signing waivers essentially so that the providers can all communicate regarding their care. So when we do need to meet regarding a patient's care, we do reach out to each other individually. We do try to do some at least annual wellness events for ourselves. So last year we did a sound bath. This year we're doing breath work. And then we all utilize each other's services. So we spend a lot of time of getting to know each other's modalities and experience them. So any new person that comes on, we always encourage to try everybody's modality out so that we understand fully if how this assists the patient. Like where can we really help to enhance a patient's experience from the tools and modalities that we each have?
Yeah. I think experiencing each other's services is really one of the most important pieces of a multidisciplinary team. If you're trying to do something collaborative on behalf of patient care, truly experiencing those other services for yourself is one of the most impactful things that you can do as a team. And so that's beautiful. It sounds like your team's working together just beautifully and that things are going well for you.
It really is. It's such a great environment. And we have people walk in all the time, and we have a whole storefront with an apothecary. So we do have a midwife
Nice.
who's also an herbalist. So she produces her own herbal line in house. And then we have a whole tea bar area. And so, and then we call it our Elevate Pharmacy with an F. So people come in shopping, but they feel like they walk in and what's been described as just a warm hug when you walk into this space. And this is really in our wellness world. It's like, this is why we've chosen to do this medicine. This is why we've chosen to open up these types of spaces to really change that experience of medicine and what that really feels like. I remember walking into all these doctor's appointments, and it's still the same. It's the same
Yeah.
feel exactly
Yeah.
this day and age, right? From when I was 12, 13, 14 years old, walking to these cold, scary,
Sterile.
unwelcoming, sterile rooms with that smell that's still somewhat traumatizing, of like hand sanitizer that just lingers. I'm like, why do we have to stay within that model? I just did not understand that. And like, why can't we just create these places where people walk in and feel taken care of right away?
Yeah, we can. And we did,
Yeah.
and, for someone to walk into your business and say it feels like a warm hug, it's the biggest compliment you can receive, that someone, we feel the same at our clinic where people come in for the first time and their nervous system is regulated by walking in the door.
Yeah.
And that's the first step. We've done it. That's success.
Yeah. And that's what's so exciting about talking to different creators and understanding that this is just growing and more, and how important it is to support each other and each other's successes as wellness businesses, because we want to change the face of what medicine looks like.
Yeah.
But we are independently out there working as entrepreneurs, and it's hard. It's hard to get the right information to build a successful clinic.
Yeah. Well, so on that note, I mean, you've been at it for 20 years. So what is your best advice for someone who's just starting out, who's interested in opening their own clinic?
I would say probably I have a lot of different advice, but I would say to start small. Start small. I think that people get really intimidated by the vision of these larger clinics that they want. And it's really about honing skills, because as wellness providers as well as owners, we have to hone both of these parts of ourselves, right? We're honing not only our ability of treatments and working with patients and our skills there, but also honing in what it is to run a business and our entrepreneurial hat and skill set. So not to get overwhelmed by the vision of like how big and great this can be, but that it's okay to start small and to put in this, dedicated time and process to that, and to dabble. Like many of us are not super well organized. We don't come from a business background, but you have the ability to adapt and to learn it and just take it on as much as you can to do it your own way. It doesn't have to be, I literally read, I think it was like Small Businesses for Dummies.
I didn't even read that. So,
and you kind of fake it until you make it. But I think but feeling and trusting your path that, there is such a high need for what it is that we do out there, and that there is no shortage of that. And being able to leverage off of what other people have done, seeking help, advice, and, dedicating a certain amount of money, I think, to put into it too, of making sure that you have enough working capital to get yourself off and started comfortably, is a big deal. And that's an investment just as much as investing in our education. There is, upfront investment that we have to do when we are business owners as well. And to not take that as like, that's where our fear, I think, often stops us. So the overwhelm, the fear piece, really working with regulating your own nervous system, becoming your best patient in that, so that you can really focus on developing your business as a whole.
Sage advice, 100%. I'm curious, one more question for you. Who has helped you along the way? Who have your mentors been? Who have you reached out to for support that you really feel like has helped you get to that next step?
So I've used and looked at various pieces that are available for business creators. I mean, ultimately, I think for someone who's just getting out and getting started, the SBA is a great organization. There's also a lot of citywide business support type of organizations that are out there beyond just the SBA alone. But starting just to understand and learn business and utilizing those tools, because essentially all businesses are the same. It's like they're foundationally all the same. It doesn't matter if you're wellness or if you're opening up a restaurant. We have to just understand these kind of like root pieces to building a clinic. And I feel like utilizing and looking for help that's free is so powerful. And I've had all different types of coaching that I found that's free. I've found, again, utilizing SBA. And then through time, I often will just continue to hire consultants to help to analyze the business, to take a look at it, because we have to understand that this is not 100% on us. We are not meant to learn and understand every aspect of being like the best business owner that you can possibly be, and understand all of your finances and know how to look at that really clearly and be the bookkeeper, be your own CPA. Don't do that. Like,
don't
really, leverage experts.
Say this all the time. Please hire other people to help you. I mean, we do not have to be the expert at every single piece. There are people who literally are professionally trained to do taxes, to do everything money related, use them, let them help you.
Yep. And that would be the fastest way to burn out, is if you try to do everything on your own. So I think there is that piece of being able to let go of control, letting people open up your books and analyze that for you. I would say like my greatest influences for business in itself in my life were my parents. And so just they came from no education and extreme poverty, immigrated to the US from China and Hong Kong. And they, I had asked my dad years ago before he passed away, and I just said, he would like do all these crazy, really risky business ideas all the time. And semi-legal, maybe not so much sometimes, not in the States, but when he was young, he was in China. And I was like, gosh, Dad, that's so crazy. You're just so much smarter than everybody else. And he said, it's not about being smart. It's about having guts.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, I never forgot that. And it was so powerful. I'm like, wow, that's really, so it's really not, if you're really looking at like, okay, I'm just going to try to like feed my mind all the time with entrepreneurial information. It's not about that. It's about that ability of also taking risk and
Yeah.
regulating your nervous
just
system.
taking action and doing it.
Yeah,
And people will ask, like, well, how did you do this? Or how are you doing these things? And it's like, how do you have a team of 20 people now? And it's like, well, because I did it, because I just tried it and did it and said yes and took action. And if I don't do it, someone else will. And that's the biggest difference, is to just say yes and try it. And obviously we want to be strategic where we can and be, make educated choices and things like that. But to be an entrepreneur, we have to be okay with risk.
absolutely. And that really takes being able to really do a deep dive into your own nervous system, what your own stories are that might be creating barriers within the mindset, right? I mean, these are all those deep things that help us become our best patients again, right? And so the beautiful thing about being in wellness is that like this is what we're trained for. We're trained to learn how to be our best patient. And by being our best patient, that's also going to help us be our best entrepreneur self too. So I think that bringing in and bridging those two sides are really important in being able to run a successful practice.
Linda, it's been an absolute pleasure meeting you and chatting with you today. And I just celebrate all your success. And if we have any listeners in Tahoe, go check out Elevate Wellness Center in Tahoe. And it sounds like a really special place.
Thank you. It truly is. And I appreciate being able to be on this call with you today and hope that it inspires some new wellness creators out there.
Thanks so much. Talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye.
Thanks so much for listening to the Wellness Center Creators Podcast. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Please visit our website at wellnesscentercreators.com for more show notes and additional episodes. By the way, I love hearing from listeners. Please send me an email at Kendall, KENDALL, at wellnesscentercreators.com with your feedback. And if you send me a question, maybe I'll read it on the show, anonymously, of course. Thanks so much again for listening, and we'll catch you next time on the Wellness Center Creators Podcast.